Hello, Sharks fans! My name is Jacob Boyd, and I'll be presenting to you guys today the San Jose Sharks versus the Los Angeles Kings preseason Game 6 preview at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. If Sharks fans are not familiar with this venue, it's because it's the home arena of the Utah Jazz basketball team, and they host an NHL game generally once a year. Apparently, it shows well as a hockey venue, but of course, there is no NHL team in Utah, and this gives hockey fans there a chance to see some NHL action. A few things to mention before jumping into the matchup tonight, though. The San Jose Sharks have signed Jake Furlong to his 3-year entry-level contract, meaning that Jake Furlong is now a part of the San Jose Sharks, roster. He is a part of the Halifax Mooseheads in the junior leagues, but this gives him, shows that he is signed now. And, when he does come to the San Jose Sharks, if he plays 10 games or more, then he has officially started his contract. He has some room to improve, though, as he did not have the best of training camps. I do think, though, that he does have some good offensive qualities. I think he just needs to work on his defensive end and breakouts, and then he'll be, one of the factors moving forward. But he is with the Halifax Mooseheads, so you'll notice here in the clip that Halifax did sign him or did give him a congratulations when he inked the 3-year contract, and he is playing with them. And I believe that they have won, both games that they've played so far this season with him in the lineup and being the team captain, like I mentioned in the last video. But good for Jake Furlong. This is a great start to his, hockey career. And, he got added as a captain for Halifax. He got his 3-year entry-level contract. He was in, the San Jose Sharks training camp this season. So just a lot to look forward to moving forward with Jake. So congratulations again, Furlong, and we'll probably be seeing you at the end of the year, maybe with the Barracuda, once Halifax season is up. But transitioning to another player in Leon Gwenke, there was a few roster cuts that were mentioned after the game against the Vegas Golden Knights. There were, Leon Gwenke and Justin Bailey were sent to the AHL Barracuda, which means that he's going to, now be with the Barracuda. He's no longer in Sharks training camp. I think a lot of people were excited for, Gwenke and the trade for Knizhov because he did so well in the AHL last year. And I thought personally he had a decent camp, but just nothing to really, make him stand out to win that, final roster spot. He needed to have performances kind of like Mukhamadullin did, but couldn't muster that consistency to make the NHL roster. Maybe a bit more time to develop will be what he needs, and he may even get a call up to the NHL, during the season if he plays well with the Barracuda. So, Sharks fans, look for that to, be a possibility. And, it could mean that if a person on the Sharks blue line doesn't, transpire in, say, Henry Thrun or maybe even a Ty Emberson, this could be, another avenue that the Sharks' David Quinn can go and bring him into the lineup maybe in the future of this year. Getting into, Justin Bailey, he was sent down to the Barracuda, last week, but then he got the call up for, the game the other night against the Vegas Golden Knights. I thought he played well, but, the coaching staff and Mike Greer felt as if after the game they just sent him down again to the Barracuda. So look for Bailey to be, a roster call up maybe at some point during the year. I think that was a big stepping stone of what Coach Quinn wanted to see from Bailey, but just didn't give that extra push to make him make that roster. Next, you got injuries. The injuries are still quite, tough on the Sharks. A couple injuries to note right off the bat is Logan Couture. He is still not skating, and he's still day-to-day. And the outcome looks more like a long shot for him to be making the starting or opening night roster or opening night lineup. Although Coach Quinn did state that he could be skating as early as tomorrow, which is a good sign. So he doesn't want to rule him out, but he doesn't think that Couture might be ready to go from that lower body injury that he sustained over the summer. More players that are, not skating are Nikita Hoytuk, defenseman, and another defenseman in Radim Shimmick, as they look more and more likely to start the season on the injured list. Lastly, you have Jan Ruda, who did skate today in the non-game day groups, which is a good sign that he will most likely be ready for opening night. So a huge vote of confidence for Sharks fans that Jan Ruda will be in the opening night lineup because he did get this skate in today. Getting right into the San Jose Sharks and LA Kings matchup for tonight's game. Sharks fans, you will see a heavy NHL ready roster where Sharks fans will most likely only see a few changes for that opening night group or lineup, set out by Coach Quinn. But yeah, getting right into the first line, you'll have Zadina, Hurdle, and Hoffman. Coach Quinn showed us this pairing early in preseason and now late, where I think this will be like the first line of the regular season, and I tend to agree with it. You have Zadina, who is young and has a ton of speed and is a good forechecker on the left wing. Then it's centered by Tomas Hurdle, who is good along the boards and a great passer of the puck, followed up by right winger Mike Hoffman, who is a pure NHL goal scorer. And I think Coach Quinn wants to get Hoffman going early in the season because, goals might be, hard to come by with this team and throughout the season. So, you put Hoffman on this group and he could score in bunches. So look for Hurdle to feed him early and often, and hope to see the benefits or rewards with a couple or a lot of goals this season from this line. Line number 2, you have William Eklund, Granlund, and Cunnin. I think this is an interesting line because Eklund played so well with Bordelot the other night, and they just know each other with the Barracuda. But I believe Coach Quinn feels Eklund, excuse me, Eklund needs to be surrounded with some NHL vets like Granlund and Cunnin. Really interesting to see Cunnin this high in the lineup, though, and dropping Duclair down to the third line. But maybe Quinny is just looking at different pairings. I'm not sure with this one. But either way, I think Eklund needs to be, the scorer on this line. And, Granlund gets his first game action of the year and was a distributor in all of training camp that I seen. So look for him to do more of that in this game. Lastly, you have Cunnin on the line, which is a grinder along the boards, and look for him to, work his way to the front of the net and get the garbage goals that way. Line number 3, you have Barabanov, Bordelot, and Duclair. This could be a sneaky good line as it has both offense and defense in mind. I think Barabanov is good defensively, but is also good along the boards. Bordelot is good with the puck and breaking into the zone with good vision. Then Duclair has the speed to get behind defenders and score off the great passing from Barbie and boards. So interesting line here, but I could see this as, whichever line that gets hot during the game could get more minutes between line number 2 and number 3. So Sharks fans, look for maybe see who gets that nod moving forward. And then obviously, Logan Couture would probably be in this centering this line with Barabanov, and that would probably be pushed up to the number 2 line. So just mentioning that. Line number 4, you have Jacob Peterson, Nico Sturm, and Kevin Labanc. I think personally you have Peterson here and not Zetterlund and Lindblom because he forechecks really well, and Coach Quinn loves him in both offense and defensive zones. So then you have Sturm, who is going to do everything necessary to win the fights along the boards and is just a grinder. Then to round out this line, you have Kevin Labanc, where Coach Quinn, I think, wants that extra offense of firepower, not only on this line, but maybe get some power play time as well. So a lot of Sharks fans might be pissed for me saying this, but I think he could have, the second best wrist shot on the Sharks team, only to be behind Mike Hoffman. Although we still will need to see, that defensive play from, Labanc to continually get in this lineup night in and night out. Labanc is fighting to be, in this league in the NHL this year, as he will be a free agent, Sharks fans, at the end of the year. So we all know what contract years do for players. So look for Labanc to try to come out guns blazing and just shoot the lights out of the puck and get us some goals deep into our lineup. It's going to be super, super needed with this team. Getting into the D pairings for tonight, you have Mario Ferraro and Burrows. Not sure if this will be the top pairing this year, but definitely will be they will both have roster spots. And I believe Burrows has had a really good camp. You most likely will see Jan Rutta on Ferraro's right side, though. But for Burrows, though, maybe a few too many penalties throughout the preseason that happened. But overall, strong both defensively and offensively if you take out those penalties. Next, you have D pairing number 2. You have, Nikolai Knizhov and Matt Benning. I think Knizhov gets the start here because Coach Quinn wants to see if he will be one of the last roster cuts or can he win the job. I think Henry Thrun has the edge over him at this point to start opening night, though. But let's check out Knizhov's game tonight and see if he can, do the things necessary to win a roster spot. Then you got Matt Benning, who will most likely be playing on the right side of Henry Thrun for opening night. But I hope to see, Matt Benning do a little bit better than he did last game. Just too many turnovers and not very good zone entries by him. For the third D pairing, you have Vlasic and Ty Emberson. Vlasic will be your third line left defenseman, most likely, but it's interesting to see, that right shot defenseman from Ty Emberson, who gets another crack at showing the Sharks what he can do. He had a really nice game against the Vegas Golden Knights last game, and he's trying to force Coach Quinn's hand on, who might start or maybe even might make the roster coming down to these last roster cuts. I really think it comes down to Knezhov and Emberson. So Sharks, those two are guys that you would like to look at on the defensive side of things. And this will show you who might come out on top. Last but not least, you will see Mackenzie Blackwood in net for the Sharks tonight. He'll get his opportunity to show why he should start opening night, as Capo Kakinen has already put a good stamp on his name being there. But I really look forward to seeing how Blackwood does and if he can, take the reins in this goalie battle. Well, Sharks fans, that is it for me on this episode of Sharks vs. Kings final preseason tilt. My name is Jacob Boyd with Hello Sharks fans. If you like this content, please leave a like on this video. Then maybe check out some of my other work listed at the end of this video. We will catch you next time, Sharks fans. Peace.